Alright, um, today I'm going to be bringing you guys I'm not going to say the last, but this is the final class and guide that I'm going to be doing, the driller. Been getting a lot of positive feedback, and I really appreciate that. I got some constructive, less than positive feedback. I, I don't know what to do about it, but I guess I'm breathing too hard into the microphone. If you guys have any tips for me on how to minimize that, I'd greatly appreciate that. I'm trying to keep it like not, I use a Sennheiser PC360 headset. I do try to like lower the microphone so it's not like right in front of my mouth. And I'm not purposely trying to do it, but kind of like in the way I talk, I do like emphasize some breathing into to get some enunciation and or some emotion. Um, so if there's like a setting and so I'm using OBS to record this. So if there's something I can do in there to lower it or make it not happen as much, that let me know. Weirdly enough, like my volume comes in so low. Like my very first perks video, like you can barely hear it. So I had to really like crank it up. So if you have any tips for me there, that'd be really cool. So anyways, let's just get into it. The driller. I had done a class guide earlier, and I feel like a lot of this is going to be some rehashing. But I know like a couple folks are wanting to see this. So some of this is going to be a lot of regurgitating, a lot of repeating of information. But maybe this is the first time you've actually seen anything. So let's just start talking about it. So I like to start off with perks. Deep pockets. This game is, I think it's like at least 50% mining. I mean, there's a lot of mining. So you might be looking at something like this and saying like, oh well, this this really isn't going to help for combat. But because mining is such an important piece of this game, like I highly recommend this. If you get this plus the armor, right, get an additional 5 right there. Um, That'll bring you from 40 all the way up to 60. It's going to be less trips for you, going back and forth between the resources and Molly and or like that platform thing. So you definitely want to get this. And you can look around. Like this is more or less a community staple. So it's not just like kind of my thing. It's kind of agreed upon. Like this is nice to have. Next, vampire. Vampire is terrific. It's really good. I know that regain 5 health doesn't look like a big number, doesn't sound like a lot, but if you use the pickaxe attack a lot, on medium or larger enemies, you're gonna gain some health. Absolutely. Like so, I wouldn't just look at it as just like the one-time thing. Like you're gonna be doing it multiple times. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Like it'll start coming back. But what's particularly good about this one for the driller is if you're using the impact axe, you get a kill with that, you're going to get life back. So it's not just your regular pickaxe, it also combos with this. So Driller gets more opportunity to get life back from this thing than anybody, I believe. So that's a little synergy there. That works out nice. So yeah, I highly recommend this. And it's also possible with the pickaxe to get a double kill. And I think maybe, I think there's potential there to get a triple. You get some grunts lined up just right. They're all up in your face, and you do the power attack. Bam! That's like 2 to 3 right there. So you could potentially be getting 5, 10, maybe even 15. So that's pretty nice. Now, can you get a double kill with this? I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe there's some cool throw that someone's done where that can work. But I think it's just one. So yeah, this works really nicely with this. I really recommend it, especially for driller. So last thorns. I think I've said this once, and this will be like a million times. This will be the final time. If you're playing Has 5, people who are very critical are going to tell you that this is jank, this is junk, this is trash, this is no good. Yeah, I think they need to relax a little bit. It's sure, in Has 5, you don't want to get hit. Like I can't argue that. Like yeah, you want to minimize, if not completely, stop getting hit completely. But I have a video up of me doing a Has 5, and, if it's lighter stuff that's hitting you, you can take 1 or 2 hits, without dying or without, completely wrecking all your health and whatnot. So this can still be beneficial on Has 5, but probably not nearly as much as it is on the lower difficulties. On the lower difficulties, so like your 3s and your 4s, Thorns is awesome. Thorns is great. 24 damage. Wow. So those little swarmers that kind of pop up out of nowhere, they kind of surprise you, come from behind. Those jellyfish things that can be like really hard to kill. Like they're just flying all over the place, and you can just be like, what a nuisance. Um, this can be really good. This can also help you like finish off some nasties that are getting at you. And I mean, if you're kind of going Rambo mode, right? You're going face to face with the bugs. You're shooting at them, and they're hurting themselves by attacking you. So like, thorns is great. I don't think this is this, a lot of people use this. Like these are pretty stapley right here. Like I'm really not going off the path too much with these. These are pretty standard. So that's what I use, and that's what I recommend. Oh, so yeah, just breathe into the mic. I'm sorry. I can't help it. Oh my goodness. All right, so going into the actives. I think I've said it in another video. I'm starting the church of hover boots. If you look at tier lists, this typically is not rated very high. I think someone said it best. A new buddy of mine, JFK. He's been super helpful in making these videos and giving me suggestions, and is just a really cool person. So I appreciate him. But he agrees with me that these are a little underrated. We could argue all day about why these aren't as cool as Field Medic and Iron Will. But just give me a second here. Let me try to explain some things, and maybe I'll change your mind. So why are hover boots good? They're good for a variety of reasons. So let's talk about combat. In combat, you can actually you can jump off of something and get above some bugs. If you use hover boots above them, you'll actually do some damage. It like shoots like fire or whatever from underneath your feet. So that's cool. Do a little bit of damage right there. That's not bad. Perfect for like those little swarmers, right? Another kind of like combat thing. So you hover in midair for like 3.5 seconds. As long as they're melee bugs, bugs that just do up close damage, no range, you can just jump off of something, and then you're midair. So for 3.5 seconds, nothing can touch you. And maybe you need to do a reload. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a little cooldown time. Maybe you just want to kill bugs while you're not getting hit, and for 3.5 seconds. That's incredible. And you can do this every 75 seconds. That is such a short cooldown. The problem with like this ability, and I know it's like the number one, it's the most awesomest thing ever. You only get to use it once, right? And if you're, if you're too good for hover boots, you're probably maybe even too good for this. Right? If you're not dying at all, how is that going to help you? It never will. So I know. Some people are going to say like it's super great and all this, and it is. It's fantastic. I mean, I talked about a situation where we all wiped, and I thought, oh, that's it, game over. And someone had this, and they were able to to use this, and then they started rezzing us, and then when he died, we rezzed him. So it can save you, for sure. But the amount of times that this potentially can save you is more, right? Because this only works once. This you can do every 75 seconds. So let's just say you're about to fall to your death, and if you're telling me you've never fallen, you've never died from a fall, like I don't believe you. I think even the most seasoned players can make mistakes. Falling is just kind of inevitable. Like you're gonna do it, especially if you're new, right? I mean, it's gonna happen. So having something like this is it's like insurance. It's gonna save you. Even if you're not using this, because you're quote bad, because you made a mistake, it's also good when other people fall to their deaths, and that's going to happen too. You're going to see that happen, and I don't know, like you're up real high, someone fat fingers on the keyboard, and they fall down. Well, now you can just jump in after them, and right before you would hit the bottom, you can do hover boots, and now you can res them. Other times too, sometimes you're just like really high up. Like it's not every game. Actually, it's most random games, right? Like people split up. It happens, and maybe you're up like super high, and the group is down below, and maybe they've found like that next patch of dirt or whatever that they need to tunnel through to get to the next thing. And instead of you trying to backtrack or whatever, instead of you trying to get all the way down there, heck, man, just jump. and then hover boots, so you can catch up to the group really quick with this. Maybe maybe there's a resource node down below. You can just jump, and then hover boots right before you would hit the ground, and now you've just quickly gotten to that resource. So it kind of has some mobility factor in there as well. Man, there's probably some things that I'm missing. I've talked about them so much. They're just so useful. I just feel like the amount of times you're going to be activating this and getting use out of this is going to way surpass this. It just is. This is just one time. You know, maps, games, matches, whatever you want to call them, where they last like 20, 25 minutes plus or minus on average. So, I mean, how many times can you use that in a 25-minute game? A lot. Yeah, I use it so much for just shortcutting stuff. I just see like the group is down below. Maybe someone's fighting some bugs and it's looking like it's not going to go so well for them. I can just jump down safely. Yeah, so just like getting around the terrain is just going to make your life so much easier. And like just having that backup insurance of when you inevitably make that nasty fall, it's gonna save you. You know, and you could argue like, well, if you did fall and died, this could save you too. Well, you know, you're gonna die again in 12 seconds. But Nagy, you can find red sugar, and as long as you do that, you'll stay alive permanently. If you use your vampire perk and get life back, you'll stay alive permanently. If you get a resupply in that 12 seconds, you'll stay. Sure, yep, that's all true. But what if you can't? What if you can't find those things? So then now you're just dead at the bottom of a hole, and someone has to come get you. I just feel like it's hard to argue that this is less useful. This is probably more powerful. I'll give them that. Yeah, there is a reason why this is considered the top perk, and I can't deny it. But listen, so I've argued a lot about this, and this is great too. I've got screenshots, and if I need to show them, I absolutely will. I've got double-digit reses, and I've never used this. Double-digit reses, never used this. Have there been times where I really wish I had this? Yeah, there has been. There has been some times where I wish I could have, because like once per mission, right? You can just instantly res somebody. So yeah, that can be super clutch. I can't argue this. Like it's a great skill. But I think this has a lot of use. When I'm playing Driller, sometimes what will happen is I'm trying to get like around something, and I'm going up kind of high, and maybe I'm not being as proactive as I should be about checking the map or just kind of having that game sense of exactly where I am. Well, sometimes you bore through and you're actually like on the ceiling and you fall through, right? And it would have killed me. And hover boots has saved me many a time. So I think that's all I'm going to say about hover boots. I just think it's so great, and at least try it. Like I think it's an amazing skill. So the last skill, this is another trash one that the internet's going to tell me I'm noobish for using. All right, they're not really even wrong. If you are being proactive, you can prevent getting grabbed, but there's going to be situations, man, where it's just it's going to be really hard to stop. And I think I've given another example where like the team has died and I'm getting swarmed and I'm panicking and I'm kind of backpedaling. I'm kiting backwards trying to kill stuff, and I accidentally backpedal into a room that has a grabber on the ceiling, and he picks you up, and that's it. You just lost. Game over. Sometimes those flying ones, like, I don't know, they just look like big flies to me, and those like big arms or whatever, and they, you're in the heat of the moment. You're kiting and jumping and parkouring and trying to rush to someone to res them. You're multi, like, you got so many things going on, and then one of them bugs just like swoops in and picks you up, and it's just like, if you had this, you would at least, you get like a little warning when you're about to get grabbed. So like if you, even just from that point of view, like you would have known that it was coming up behind you. But what's cool about this, though, what's really nice about this is that 2 times per mission, you can get out of it. And when I say get out of it, I mean you actually kill the thing that's grabbing you. So if it's one of those ceiling grabbers, and you get grabbed by this, um, don't worry. If he pulls you all the way up to the ceiling, it will gently put you back down and kill him. So that's great for the team, right? If you can kill one of those, because maybe not everyone is super awesome and super aware. Like there are newer players, and there's scrubs like me who I'm just not gonna catch every single thing. And by you having this ability and killing that, like now you're just helping out the team. You're just guaranteeing that no one else is gonna get grabbed, and it conserves ammo, right? You're not shooting at the ceiling, so that's perfect. I it, it's just, and like two times per mission is super generous. The other grabber, I never know the name. I'll just never learn it. It's like one of those sand sharks that you can see. I think they're typically in the sand missions. They might be in other places. Look at that! I'm doing a live recording. The wifey poo is walking through. Just give. Yep. Well, those sand grabbers can be particularly nasty. I've used the word jarring because they will grab you and then very quickly, just like, just drag you across the ground. And sometimes they grab you, let go, grab you, let go, and then like your screen is just like shaking all around. It's mean. If you're doing like one of those salvage missions, and you get one of those that comes through, like all of a sudden, like they just grab and move everybody, and it's no good. So having something like this, you can just kill them instantly, and they're kind of hard to hit. I think sometimes they can be, right? It's not like one of the grunts where it's just like front and center and it's super, he's right there, super easy to kill. These things are literally underground, so it can be hard to get at them. So this just guarantees, boom, they're done, and they're not gonna mess anybody else up. So I love these. I think they're so great. And this will be the last time I tell this story. I was playing with somebody. They went into a room with one of those ceiling grabbers. It grabbed him. He warned me before I came in that it was going to grab me. And, I was just too cool. I just was like, not me. And walked into the room, and I got grabbed immediately. And that was it. Game over. We lost. So I think this is super useful. But, for people who want to say that it's not necessary, they're technically right. I think Dash is incredible. I think I saw a tier list where this was pretty high up there, and I have to agree, Dash is amazing. I'm not going to talk all about Dash, and I'm not going to talk all about these, but these are good. I know these are probably the staples, but I love these. I've used these for like 500 plus hours now. I love them. I think they're great. And if someone says that you're bad for using either of these, or like they're not necessary, well, you're bad if you use these, and neither of these are necessary either. So like, we don't need to be so negative about choosing something else, especially when it's incredibly useful. Alright, so I've talked enough about that stuff. This is just what I recommend. You're free to do whatever you want. You can't go wrong with any of these, honestly. They're all pretty fantastic. This one's pretty cool too. I can't really speak for those, but you can't go wrong, guys. Alright, so I never know how to minimize this. It's just left click. That's all you gotta do. Let's talk about guns. Let's talk about guns. This is why you're really here. Cryo cannon. This is what I recommend. This is what I like. This is what I use. And I see little argument from the optimization point of view to use anything else. Please, if you have some good points, let's be constructive, right? Let's be constructive. Let's have a civil back and forth. If you disagree with anything I say, please. There was someone who, it was really cool of them. I said I didn't love a particular gun, or like I hadn't gotten into it yet, and they actually in the comments they gave 2 builds, and that was really cool. Like, I love that. Please continue doing that. Like if you think like this is garbage that I'm presenting, say like, hey, that's nice, but I think this might be better, and then give your build. That's perfect. Let's do that. Okay, so cryo cannon. When you first start, you actually get the flamethrower, and you can see how much I love this. And by love, I mean I I didn't at all. I didn't even finish getting the things, and I've never even used any of the overclocks. I just I don't like it. I don't know if this is kind of like one of the reasons why the driller may not be the most popular class, but I gotta be real. I kind of like my point and shoot, pew 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 kind of guns. I like my assault rifles. I'm just being real. I like having to aim a little bit more precisely. This is just like a blast wave. It's just like a cone of death. I'm not saying it's bad. It's awesome. It really is. It does the hurt. And it also hurts your team pretty darn hard. I have been burned alive many a time by drillers, and it can be particularly frustrating. I know that most of the time people aren't doing it on purpose. I know that, so that's why I don't rage or like say anything to them when I get killed by them. It's just par for the course when you're using this weapon. So if you do prefer this, like please just be careful. It is very very damaging, and you can roast your team alive with this. But because of the way it shoots, to me it feels very similar, if not identical, to the cryo cannon. You're just shooting, instead of a wave or a blast of fire, now you're shooting a blast of cold, frosty air. And it seems like, or it feels like, it does less damage than the flamethrower. Like, I'm pretty sure that's true. It does less damage. However, it still does a lot. It still lays down the hurt. It really does, man. And I think it's primarily because of its freezing effect, right? When something's frozen, it takes more damage. So, if you freeze something quickly and then you keep, shooting at them with this, it basically, it's like the same thing as using this, right? You end up getting the damage because you froze something. So it basically does the same or more damage as the flamethrower. Argue me that. Like, tell me that's not true. That's fine. But if it does do less damage, it's not a lot less. It's pretty darn close. And considering that you get that additional CC, I think from the optimization world, it's hard to say that this isn't like the king. Like, how is this like not number one? The CC is incredible, guys. It's incredible. If you've been kind of apprehensive or like maybe just not interested or whatever in trying the driller, try this out, man. Try this out. I am not a super fan of the driller. It's not that I don't like him. It's just that I just love other ones more. And that's cool. But when I do play on this, I'm always just like, wow. Oh, man. Did I just breathe in the mic? I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get this is my emphasis, So, it's so good. It's so powerful. The CC is just amazing. So, like, you're about to get swarmed, right, with this thing, and so this is a personal thing that I do. To me, when I'm playing on driller, I don't think it's necessary. Like, especially like we're all engaged, right? I'm with the team. I don't think I need to finish off the bugs personally when I'm playing with this. That's my 2 cents. I'm gonna let the gunner and the engineer, and for those big meaty targets, the scout, I'm gonna let them finish off what I've frozen. To me, when I'm playing this gun, my role is to CC. Now, sure, you can absolutely continue to hold down the trigger on something you've already frozen and annihilate it. It does some nasty damage. But if you're trying to conserve, and I think the play is to get things frozen. You want to control the bugs. You want to keep everyone calm. Things get crazy out there. This is also particularly good versus flying monsters. So I don't think new players know this, right? How could you? You're new. If you freeze flying bugs, regardless of the damage that they've taken, they will die. So like there's like a little gauge, like a little frosty gauge that you see next to their health bar, that represents how cold they are. And if you fill it all the way up so that they're completely frozen, it will just kill them. This could save other people ammo as well. because it just seems to be very efficient to freeze them rather than try to drain their HP. So yeah, flying bugs. This is amazing. This is so good versus flying bugs. And you can also do that same thing with the scouts cryo grenade. If you see like a, there are like flying swarms that happen, and or groups of flying bugs. You can throw a cryo grenade, and goodbye. They're all done. One grenade, you just killed 3 or more flying bugs. It's incredible. Um, or you could be playing the driller, right? That's what we're talking about right now, and just a wintry blast of death. Super good. So I hope I've emphasized how good the damage is and how good the CC is, and just like the utility of this gun is incredible. Um, I almost never go into the mods. I think these are highly subjective. Maybe someone wants to argue with me that there's a big difference between these two. Sure, you're not wrong. Like, why am I not doing this? And so, sure, there's like, oh my god, you don't get the effective range. I play with this, yeah, that's incredibly good too. I just really feel like this is very subjective. I'll have a link in the description for the build that I'm using. I would say if you're new, you're not really sure, why not start here? This is coming from somebody of I've got 65 out of 69 achievements, including all the Has 5 ones. I've done 3 elite deep dives. I know 3 is not a lot. I've said this before. I just find them painful. With a good group, elite deep dives are probably nothing. But 3 was enough for me to say, hey, I did it. I'm good, and I can do them. I played for hundreds of hours, talking like 500 plus hours, according to Steam, anyways. And this isn't just me, by the way. Like, I've consulted other people. I've talked to some folks, along the way, and this works. I've proven that this works. So, it's you don't have to adhere to this 100%, but this is a proven build right here. So I think this is great, at least to start off with. So really, like, the big thing though, because this is all again all subjective. The big thing is the overclocks. Now this we can start getting into a little bit more fiery debate as to what's the best. I gotta be totally real with you guys. I probably can't talk about all the merits of these overclocks. It's been a while since I've even tested these or played with these. There was a point. I started playing this game in October of 2020, and for 6 months straight, I just no-lifed it. Every time I had a free minute, every time, like, when I came home, like, work was done, and play with my kid, and he fell asleep. Nah, I just completely ignored my wife and everything, and I was playing Deep Rock Galactic like, oh man, I was feverish. I could not stop playing. The weekends, everything, all my free time, I was playing this game. So at one point, I was kind of fiddling around with a lot of these, and from what I can tell you, like what I remember, I think I used to play with this. What's kind of unfortunate about this game, and I mean, it's like a personal gripe of mine, it can take a lot of time to get the overclocks, right? Especially if you've kind of mixed in getting some cosmetics, because there's only so many opportunities to get cores, and I think I've talked about that in the comments or in another video. But I want to say I was like approaching 200 hours in when I got my last overclock, which just happened to be this one, which happens to be the one I think is the best. Someone else had been telling me for a while that this overclock is amazing, that this overclock will change my mind about. Oh, I already thought the gun was good, and then when I got this, I was just blown away. This overclock is just insanely good. I believe at one point they were talking about tweaking this, and I have no idea if that actually happened or not. I played with this recently. I played with this last night. I still think this is godly. I still think this is amazing. If you're telling me that this isn't the best overclock anymore, well, wow, that's insane, because this is still a darn good one then. I bet you it's still the best, though. This overclock is just insane. The freezing power, plus the increased flow rate, which basically just makes the freezing power just even more freezing. you just freeze things so quickly. Oppressors, right? Those big oppressors. I could freeze them pretty quick, man. Um, Praetorians. Oh, that's no issue. Nothing like freezing a Praetorian and then throwing an axe at them, right? Like that's a great combo. Guaranteed. Boom, they're done. Um, you can even freeze detonators. You can freeze detonators with this. That's silly. That's silly good. So you know that big explosion that everyone runs from, and sometimes they don't make it. Nah, you can just negate that big explosion completely. Dreadnoughts, I can't talk on that. I'm actually not sure off the top of my head. If someone wants to comment on that, if they want to tell everyone if you can freeze a dreadnought or not, I can't remember. That would be pretty darn good if you could. Maybe you can, and if you can, it's probably only for like a second. I can't imagine that's like a viable strategy, especially on like Has 5. But you can definitely freeze them other big nasties. Oh man. So this is what I recommend. I really think if you try this, I also think that your head will explode like mine has. It's silly good. It really is. Um, so by using the cryo cannon, you just become like this highly damaging CC machine. Um, I used to debate people as to what the best class was, and I was always in the corner of the engineer. I just always thought he was the best. But when I do play on this, I'm always just like, ooh, I think I'm wrong. I think it's actually the driller. Not only does he get a ridiculous toolkit, um, this CC is just out of control. Like the engineer can't CC like this guy can. You could say like the lure is CC. Sure, if there are other things I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, maybe. But no, I just don't. I can't see how anything compares to this in terms of CC, and it's so helpful and so great. I love playing with drillers. I know that drillers can like kill their teammates better than anybody else, but I play with some highly skilled, highly talented, excellent drillers, and they make any difficulty a breeze. I've complained about some like the punishing factor of like an elite deep dive, and even some has fives can be kind of mean. Nah, not when you're playing with a driller, man. You're playing with like even just like an average decent driller can really negate a lot of the difficulty. I mean, the freezing power is just so good. It's so good. Okay, so I've talked about how much I love this gun and how good it is. The emphasis has been made. Um, going back to this, if you want the pure damage, I'm sure that's fine. Clearly I have no credentials here to even talk about it. As soon as I could switch to the cryo cannon, I did. Um, this burns teammates alive, and I really that's why I don't like it. I just felt like I was hitting people too much with this, and I'm not trying to upset people when I'm playing with them. And I'm not saying that you can't play with it. I I have been in matches where people are using the flamethrower and they've never touched the team. They're real respectable about it. They're real good about it. But just to be real, just to be honest, your average player using the flamethrower, they're gonna you're gonna get hurt by them. It's just the truth. So I think if you are gonna spray all over your team, why not do this? If you completely freeze a teammate, you can always get them out, and because the damage isn't as saucy, although it is when they're frozen, it's also not going to hurt your teammates nearly as bad. So and then plus for all the things that I've already listed, I think to me this is just straight up better than the flamethrower. That's me. This new gun, I've played with this for 20 minutes. I haven't given it a fair shake. I just haven't. I like playing other classes. And I just been busy lately. I've been making these videos. I've been playing with a new friend of mine, and when I want to guarantee, when I want to carry a mission, I'm gonna use the things that I'm most comfortable with, that are tried and true. So I can't really talk about this one. It looks fun. It looks really cool. If someone wants to post a build for this in the comments or whatever, please. Or maybe someone wants to link a video that talks about this better, because I'm not going to be able to tell you what's going on with this. It just looks cool. Looks like it has a little bit of CC as well. I think you shoot like a green blob or something. You shoot like these puddles of acid and or poison, and I think it has a slowing effect or something like this. So that's pretty sweet. I mean, awesome. So it's got like the CC, kind of like the cryo cannon. I doubt that it's as good. I think just freezing, because like when you freeze an enemy, right, they're not attacking you anymore. You just sat them down. You just denied, right? Whereas like things can still, even if they're slowed, they're gonna keep creeping towards you. Um, but again, I don't know. I don't know about this gun yet. I haven't really played with this. So this is my build. This is what I recommend. Cryo cannon. Wow, we talked a lot about that. Hope that was helpful, man. I sometimes I think I ramble too much. Okay, so secondary. Secondary. Um, this gun right here. It's cute. It's fun, and yeah, it can do some damage. However, the problem with this gun is not anything with itself. It's because this is a choice. That's the problem. Um, I'm you know I don't this is probably it. So I'm not going to talk about this gun because this gun, I just feel like this is the gun you should be using. This isn't really even like a optimal kind of argument. Its utility is just so incredibly good. I can't ever see a reason why you would use the other gun. I can't. Maybe you want to argue me, and please keep it constructive. Tell me why you think the other gun would be better than this. So why is this gun so good? Why am I saying all this stuff right now? This gun is so good because it has a unique ability that no other gun possesses. Um, an ability that is so powerful, so good, so convenient that I can't see how you wouldn't use this gun. It's so what is he talking about? With this gun, you can actually like charge up a shot, and it shoots this pretty large purple ball, and it moves somewhat slow, but you can shoot it at a mineral node, and then if you quickly follow up with another, you just tap, another shot. That second shot will go faster, and it will hit the ball, and then the ball will explode. Well, when the ball explodes, it actually harvests resources. So let's just pretend it was gold, and it was a really long, or like, oh, not really long, but it's just like a standard thing of gold on the wall. And gold, right, it's a little harder, which is surprising, because like gold in real life, I think is soft, right? That doesn't make any sense why you have to pick it twice. But anyways, you have to pick gold twice to get to get a piece. With this, I could charge up the ball, shoot the ball right when it's near the gold, and now all that gold is now, I can just pick it all up now. So how much time does that actually save? Well, yeah, it doesn't save like a colossal amount of time. So in that example, it's maybe not the best example, but it would still be faster than if you were to pick gold normally. And then someone's gonna be like, "Well, you shouldn't be picking gold at all. Huh? The gold is worthless." No, it's not. Gold is not worthless when you're brand new. So I'm gonna dispel that myth. Sure, when you've played as long as I have, and not everyone's gonna play that long because they have lives, they have other interests. Um, it's gonna really reduce the amount of time it takes to get some gold. Good gracious! And I'm not gonna talk about why you should be mining gold. Like, fine, if you don't think gold is worth mining, then don't. So where does it really shine? It really shines when there's like nitra or morkite or eggs, right? Eggs, yeah, it can work for that too. When something is really high up especially when it's on the ceiling. So you get these situations where it's like even an engineer is not really sure how or where they can put a platform. Sometimes you just get these very bad angles, right? Like it's almost like exactly like this thing will be like right on the darn ceiling. So it's like, how do you put a platform up for a scout to even go get it? How does a scout actually, another thing that I've talked about, like using hover boots on scout, and they're like, well, just don't be a noob and just power attack as you grapple into or next to the node or into the resource. And well, when they're right on the ceiling, dude, you can't just power attack and then just float there. Like that doesn't work. So you get a point I'm trying to make here is you get some really tricky things. Well, all that it doesn't matter for the driller. You charge up this thing, shoot it up there, and you time it right, boom, it explodes, and all the resources rain down. So not only does it save time, trying to like pick whatever the resource would have been, it negates all. Uh, I don't know how to phrase it, but like the difficulty, it just negates all the difficulty in trying to get those really hard, high up to reach resources. So this is incredible. I mentioned eggs too. Sometimes eggs are like literally just right on the dead center on the ceiling, and it's just like, well, how do we get to that? I don't even know what to do. And this guy can just be like, boosh, and eggs loose. So this is incredible. I can't emphasize enough how good that ability is. The utility is just insane. So, for that reason alone, I can't, even if I like this gun, and I do like this, it's fun, it's cool to shoot, but good gracious. Like, this is just, it's infinite, it's invaluable how cool that ability is. The ability itself does take a little bit of practice, takes a little bit of skill, right? People like that word in the gaming world. Skill, skill, skill. If you have skill, you're cool. So it takes a little bit of skill to learn how to do this. I think with practice, though, it's not that hard to pull off. And, I had someone teach me a technique. You just need to line it up differently. When you're looking at a resource dead on, it's really hard to gauge how far that ball has gone. Like, the depth perception is really hard to, I'm going to use the word gauge again, to determine. It's really hard to determine what the depth perception is when you're looking at it like straight on. Like, when do I need to shoot again? So what you can do instead, if it's possible, is you try to line yourself more parallel with the thing. So let's just say something is on the side of a wall and it's high up. Well, you kind of I don't know, either you make it on the right or the left of you, your choice, and you try to get as close to the wall as possible. So now you can see, how far it needs to go. You're not guessing anymore. Now it's just getting the timing right, but you can feel it out better because you can see. If I wasn't lazy with all this editing, I would show you an example. I showed an example to my buddy last night, who's brand new. It was easy peasy. And if I've put it out in the comments and stuff. If you guys ever want to contact me, you want to play, maybe you want to have some one-on-one time, you want to ask some questions or whatever. I can show you this technique. Hit me up, holler. So yeah, I've blah blah blahed so much about that. Oh my good gracious, I'm sorry. So it's not just that ability, right? It does some damage. It's not the most impressive thing ever, but I think a really cool technique, and my buddy actually discovered this on his own. I was so happy. I mean, maybe it's super obvious, but I thought it was really cool of him. He would freeze stuff with the cryo cannon, and then instead of holding down the trigger, he would actually switch to this weapon and then just pew 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 pew, kill the stuff that he froze. And I'm just like, oh, that's a good technique, sir. That's gonna conserve some ammo. That's nice. Because like typically what you want to do before you get a resupply, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always work, but generally you want to deplete everything at roughly the same rate. So like your primary weapon, your secondary weapon, maybe like the axes that you're throwing. Maybe you want to use 1C4. You want to try to deplete everything. You want to drill, half your juice or whatever. You want to try to use up all your stuff roughly equally, so that when you do get a resupply, you're just benefiting that much more. So like, let's just say on this resupply thing, let's just say that you've used all of the ammo in this gun and you've used nothing else. Well, when you get that resupply, you're only going to get ammo for this. Like, you're not going to get, like, there are max amounts of ammo that you can have, max amounts of C4 you can carry. So, this idea of trying to, use everything equally is very good for when you go get a resupply. So, this combo of freezing things and then switching to this and finishing them off is very good. You could also freeze them, and I guess maybe I should go back to looking at that. You can also freeze them and use your pickaxe to finish them off, whether it be like a light attack or you can do a power attack. So yeah, it's a really nifty combination, especially when you're comboing it up with this, right? Like, there's a lot of times where I get beat up pretty bad, and then I freeze a group of guys, and maybe I hold the trigger just a second longer, right, to get all their health really low, and then bam, I do a power attack. Even doing something like, clearly I've used this at one point, the large area like that might be really good. I like the lower cooldown personally, just to you know, more opportunity to get life from this, from the power attack. But yeah, so that's a great combo, and he discovered that on his own. He was so happy to tell me about it, and yeah, so I'm gonna shout him out right now. It's my buddy Arty. And we go way back, high school friends. We're in our 30s now, still playing games, and he he uh, he convinced me. He persuaded me to start doing these videos. I just felt like I wasn't gonna get any views, and that I rambled too much, and that people are gonna tell me that I'm too breathy into the mic, and it's the negativity. But no, it's been the exact opposite. People who are watching my videos, they're all super cool. Man, I love you guys. That some of the things that y'all have said to me, you're not that I'm like crying about it, but like honestly, it makes me so happy to read some of these things that you're saying. Like, it's really cool. Like it encourages me to do more. And I've said it before. Like, someone says something nice, and then I well up with that positivity, and then I pass it on to my son. I'm like, yeah, monster trucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it energizes me. And then I pass it on to my wife. I give her a compliment, a little kissy kissy. It just and then she texts her mom, "Hey mom, like I love you." Like, and then her mom passes it on to her husband, and then he passes it on to somebody else. It just goes around the world, man. So, my boy Artie, he got me going on this, and he's been helping me with a lot of the stuff, and so has JFK. Like, both of them have been like super beneficial and super cool. So, anyways, that's my plug for them. I'm not gonna go into the mods about this. I think I like the things that make it easier to pull off that doing that ball and then shooting it to get resources. So this is the overclock that I use. Um, I literally cannot tell you about these overclocks. Like maybe this would be good if you're trying to do that ball thing more often, but um, this I feel like makes it so easy, right? I'm not opposed to things being easier. Like, I know some people hate iPhones because they're easy to use. I don't even have one. Um, but I always just appreciated that interface, and that like you could give that to like pretty much anybody, and it's like intuitive or whatever. So I don't necessarily always hate on easy builds. Sometimes I feel like easy builds you don't get as much benefit out of, but this easy build just makes it so consistent to pull off that ability to harvest those resources. And I think harvesting those resources is just beyond valuable. So if I can maximize, you know, the ability to do that, then that is what I've done. Maybe you think that there's something else that I could make it even easier using some of these other things, but like I don't know, like maybe this would be better to use. I could see how like either or would make this easier to shoot this. So I don't know. You can debate that if you want, but this is what I use. I feel like this is very subjective. And again, like the overclocks are gonna, in a lot of cases, they drastically change how the weapons work. And this is just what I thought was best. This is what works for me. I don't know if this is most optimal. I haven't checked this. I haven't like seen what other people are doing. But to me, this just makes it insanely easy to do that, that harvesting technique. And I just can't recommend this setup enough. And it still does some damage, guys. Like, it still does some damage. So, when you freeze things, you can basically throw toothpicks at people after you've frozen something. Like, you really don't need much oomph, when you combo it up with the cryo cannon. Oh, don't breathe in the mic, dude. Alright. Pickaxe. I kind of went over that a little bit. I like this when I combo it with that. I just feel like it's giving me more chances, more opportunity. Using this might actually be really good too, especially if you're freezing stuff, right? I mean, you're just going to hit more targets. So, like, both of these I think are fantastic. Even that might be fine. I feel like when things are frozen, they already take enough damage. So I don't know if you're like maybe looking at it from the point of view of like you freeze an oppressor and then you like do this. Yeah, that could work. And maybe that's really cool. I don't know. Maybe I should try that. But I've had success with this, so this is what I like, and I could see this too. Mentioned this once, twice, 3, 4 times now. Does anyone see a difference between the medium intensity flare and the high intensity flare? You know, right here, this example, I'm not seeing it. But the, whoa! Look how bright that is. Like, why is that so, right? Can someone please acknowledge what I'm saying? I know no one's commented on this yet. Please, tell me, what's going on here? Is there actually a difference when you're playing with these in the game? Come on, dude. That actually looks brighter than this one. Am I crazy? Alright, I'm going to the optometrist. Is that what they're called? I'm going to the eye doctor. Let me know. Alright, back to this. Okay, so C4, right? I think this is what the community calls it, C4, satchel charge. When I was playing with my buddy Arty, he didn't, not right away, understood that you have to throw this, and then you got to hit it again, right? So first you place it, then you blow it up. So that I don't know if that's I guess you figured that out pretty quick, but yeah, you throw this bad boy and then you let it go. This probably kills teammates more than the flamethrower does. Really, the combination of this and the flamethrower is just particularly nasty in terms of killing your teammates. Just be careful when you use that, right? I've hypocritically done it myself. I see a window of opportunity to kill something like a dreadnought or an oppressor or a detonator. Like, there's something like big and nasty, right? Or maybe there's like an enormous swarm and I can get all those dudes, right? And someone happens to be in the blast radius. It's kind of mean, but if you can kill like a whole bunch of bugs or kill something really atrocious that's gonna, like, I don't know, maybe you're doing like a drill dozer mission and the drill is on its last leg, and if you don't kill this detonator from whatever, like, he's literally, like, if he gets an inch closer and blows up, the mission is over. So like it's now or never, and someone happens to be in the way. All right, I could see someone killing me for that reason, to save the mission. I can even kind of let it go when they get some particularly juicy kills. But yeah, if you're not facing one of those situations, please just throw it down and give someone a second to get out of it. It gives you a pretty obvious, like, red dome or whatever. I as long as you're not brand new, like, I think folks are gonna know that, like, uh-oh, someone just put C4 down. I gotta get out of here. So just give them a second. If you're using like voice communication, or if you're like a real fast typer, telegraph it. Let us know. Say something like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this." My man Arty's really good about that. He's just like, "Yo, I want to bomb that," and I'm like, "All right, I'm backing up." You know what I'm saying? It's real simple like that. So just be careful. What do I? How do I do this? Again, guys, I really think this is very. I think this is pretty subjective. I like more damage. I'm always kind of like pro damage. The more I can do, maybe think that people think that's overkill, but there's definitely like some big monsters I've thrown this at, and it didn't kill them. Even with this more damage. So like I feel like it's validated getting this more damage. You just have to get that. Yeah, that's cool too. I don't use these a lot, so that's why I don't get more ammo for it. So I can see why you would want to get more. Like, if you're good at using these, you find opportunities to use these more. It's probably just because I'm bad, right? But I can absolutely see why you'd want to. I can absolutely see why you want to do most of these, right? Again, this is so subjective. So like, this is just what I do. This is what I think is cool. I think I don't get this though on purpose, because I do feel bad when I hurt teammates. Like, I feel bad. Like, I don't like getting hit by other people, so I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do things to others that you don't want done to you. I mean, I butchered that, but you know what I'm saying. So I like a smaller radius personally, but there's nothing wrong with doing this either. Like, you absolutely can do that, and I can see a lot of the uses. One thing that I didn't mention that's really cool about the C4 that you can use, and I'm sure there's a whole list of things, and I'm not gonna cover them all. So like, if there's something that I missed and you want to add, like, oh, you can also do this. Awesome, yeah, let's do that. Let's share some knowledge. What's cool about this is you can make and I've used this phrase, makeshift bunker. You can drill a tunnel, and then at the end of that tunnel, you throw some C4, you back up and kaboom. Maybe something like this would be even better. But yeah, you make a bunker, right? So now all the bugs, in order to get to you, have to then go down that tunnel, and and if they do actually get into the quote room, right? Because you've kind of blown up such a nice large area, you get plenty of time. Basically, it just creates this perfect funnel, this nice bunker. I know some critics have said like that's cheap, and or not necessary. Well, you know what? We should be putting. At least I think so. I believe we should be putting fun above all optimization, all everything. And if that's fun for you, you enjoy making those tunnels, making those bunkers, and people want to do it. Yeah, man, that's cool. Let's have fun. Let's do some cool stuff. It's neat, right? It's cool. So, yeah, you can make some pretty cool bunkers. I'm sure there's other situations where oh, I think I mentioned it in this resource guide that I did. If you get one of those like gold detonators, right, and you lure him into a tunnel and you kill him in the tunnel, and then you get that nice ball of gold. It can take a while to mine all of it. To be real, it can take a while. Well, a driller can kind of drill around to the top of the ball, the gold ball, right, and then right at the top or anywhere, he can place the C4 and kaboom! Now all that gold just rains from the ceiling. You can just quickly put it in Molly, right? So like, that's one. I think there's a ton, right? I mean, combat is the obvious, like all the uses it has in combat, but like making those bunkers and ripping up them resources of gold is pretty nice. So if there's anything else, yeah, definitely let me know. And again, guys, just be careful. Give people a second if you can. Warn them that you're about to do this. You know, that kind of thing. The drills. Oh man, these are so good. Wow. When you first look at these, or maybe it was just me when I first looked at these, I was just like, what's the fuss, right? Doesn't everyone get a pickaxe? Like, why do I? Nah, it's incredible. It basically makes tunnels. It bores out so much dirt, and it does it so quickly. It's insanely fast and insanely large. The uses for this, oh man, I don't know if I can go over them all. Like, it's okay. So one of the most obvious ones, and you've probably seen this plenty of times. I think even when you're new, like you're like, what's going on? Why are they doing that? And then you're like, oh, is at the end of a lot of missions, you need to huff it. You need to run back to the drop pod as quickly as possible, right? You get like 2 or 5 minutes or whatever. And going all the way back can be quite the challenge, depending on which map you get. And sometimes Molly decides to go up one of them. I call them a spider hole. The Molly will go up a very small hole, like where a resource, like a resupply was called, right? They'll shortcut on their own, and yet no one can go up there. Even a scout would struggle to get up that. And sometimes those dead ends can kind of, that's game. I've had some game overs because of that, because I was so reliant on Molly, and then I look at the map and like I'm getting swarmed by bugs, and it's just like, all right, well, I'm not getting back to the drop. Well, no problem for the driller. Very, very, very often, a driller, and it's almost like expected of them to do it, will just drill straight to the drop pod. So just negate all the challenge, all the stress, if you even want to call it that, all of that. Just beeline straight forward, right to it. It's great, and it's fun too. Like I'm not gonna lie, I think it's fun. Because he's up front, and maybe the scout is with him, and he's kind of supplying the flares. Not that it's even necessary. But it's kind of like him and the scout are kind of like leading the charge as he's pushing through, and then it's like engineer and gunner are kind of like in the back. Again, that's not, you don't have to adhere to that. That's just, I'm just using like what I think is cool. Gunner, bugs are coming up the tunnel, so Gunner is killing those bugs, right? I mean, his AoE is just disgusting. So like in a tunnel like that, it's like extra good. And the engineers also, he can do like his breach cutter beam, right? Especially if if you do the beam like how I do, you can basically do like almost the entire length of the tunnel and it just like shreds through all the bugs that are trying to come up through it. And or the engineer can plug up the holes with platforms as you're. That's something I don't even think I mentioned. As you're coming up. So it's super cool, right? Super cool. I mean, there's just been so many times where like we just get stuck or we just can't get past an obstacle, and we basically would have lost the mission had he just not drilled to the end. So that's a lot about that. Um, Obstacles. Maybe you're not playing with an engineer that can make a bridge, so you can kind of drill like a side tunnel, to get to the other side of this. There's some deep cutout in front of you, so you can just kind of drill off to the side and make like a nice little tunnel. Sometimes you can drill above and over things. That can be like a really long way around something, especially if the room is large. But I absolutely have used that technique where I just basically drill above everything. Um, some of those dreadnought missions, I don't see this being used or implemented all that much, but you could absolutely drill tunnels underneath of where you're going to fight the dreadnought. That's great. This is like a little getaway tunnel. Sometimes the dreadnought just burrows through it anyways and rips up all your work, but yeah, that's cool. At least one time you got away from him because it's something nifty you drilled through like that. Um, those salvage missions. If you're not making a bunker, I feel like that's kind of gone out of style from what I've seen lately. Um, you could, at the very least, it creates kind of like a green circle that you gotta fight in, and sometimes if it's like up against a wall, you kind of lose some area to stand in. Well, he can just drill out like that chunk of wall or whatever. So now you get a little more movement, a little more freedom, and it can help the engineer make like a roof over that that thing that you're defending or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Sometimes, and that same vein there with the salvage missions, the I never know what they're called, guys. Like the radio tower and like the fuel thing. Um, Sometimes they just end up in like. Can I say the word crappy? I don't. I'm trying not to curse. Less than ideal locations. Uh, the driller can actually drill that out, right? He can actually knock those things down, um, which is perfect. And there's other situations where he can drill it down into the ground, and then like an engineer can top it off with a platform. So I don't know if you can do that with the hacking bot though. That would be interesting if that works. I actually don't know. But there's other situations that are escaping me where the bugs want to like attack the thing or whatever, um, and or you just want to give yourself more room to run around. You can just drill it into the ground and top it off, right? And that's pretty cool. I don't, I gotta be honest. So sometimes I want to make the argument for the salvage operations to not do that. I think some people just automatically expect like that's like the go-to strategy to like dip that thing into the ground and cover it up. I don't know about that. Listen. Before you fry me, let me just say my piece. It's a nice little something something to hide behind. Maybe three acid spitters hit the wall, and in my opinion, the scout should be on top of getting those acid spitters. Not that anyone can't kill them, and everyone should be proactive about helping the team, right? Um, but if no one is killing those acid spitters, well, and you're about to see something come your way, you can duck behind that thing, right? Because I don't think it takes damage, so you could use it as a barrier, right? You don't always have to bury it. Bury it. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like a little something something you can hide behind. It's not so bad. Also, because I've played games and I have some recordings of this where I actually start getting a little frustrated. Um, Sometimes you're almost in a competition to get kills. Like some people are so good at killing the bugs. Well, by leaving that thing there, you can actually jump on. Someone can jump on top of it, right? So now you. That's. So I think there's some arguments to not always burying the thing. Um, I feel like I had some other things that I was thinking about. Now that I've rambled so long, I've forgotten what those other uses are. Oh, that's always unfortunate when that happens. But there are definitely some other. Oh, how about this one? This is a cool one. So if you're doing the drill dozer mission and you get to the second stage where those like fire rocks are coming down, test me. Call my bluff. Try this out. It works. Your driller can stand on top of the drill dozer, and right before those red fire rocks or molten balls, whatever you want to call them, are about to come down, you can bust out these drills. And as long as you're when the rocks come down, poof, you instantly kill them, right? So if you're in a situation where, especially like on Has 5, things are getting crazy, yeah, he can stand on top of the drill, and he can prevent all those molten balls from coming down. Yeah, that's a cool one. And in that same mission type, like the fourth stage, those like pillars or beacons pop up. He can drill through those. I had played a game once with somebody, and it actually got me like a little upset. I was playing as Gunner, and this guy was just so like, naggy. Like you got to kill the beacons, and yeah, that does work, and yeah, it can be faster. Like there's no doubt about it. But I noticed that the driller in that particular mission was going to those things, and it was like a 3 or a 4 or whatever. Like it was like a no pressure, like it was guaranteed. And I just felt like I would rather be hitting the bugs. I don't know. I would love to see what the debate is there. Like, who should be killing those beacons? I don't know. In my opinion, I think the driller should be doing it, but I can see the argument that the time that he would have to walk from one side to the other would be too long, or could be too long, and that the gunner could more quickly do it. The one guide that I recommend that I've done a video for, when I'm gunner, that thunder cannon really is not pinpoint accurate, and I think I even got one of the accuracy mods, and it's still not very accurate. So sometimes I'm blowing like a lot of ammo trying to, and the idea is that you shoot the, not the very tippy top, but like just below the tip, right? Because like you wanna make contact with it. But even then, like it's not like I just like shoot once and it's gone, right? Like it's just like it can be an inaccurate weapon. Like I feel like it's easier to do that with the that one that like it's got like the spin up piece. So I don't know. Like this is debatable, but let's just say that in a perfect world, the driller is closest to it. He can drill through that, and then maybe the gunner will get the ones on the other side. However you want to do that. Communication is key, right? So you can't always assume like whose role is what. But you can absolutely do that with the driller. Man, I know I had a couple of other ones, and they're just 100% escaping me right now. Some simple stuff, like if you don't use the pistol to harvest some resources, and it's kind of high, like, and there's like, I don't know, nitro that's kind of high up on the wall, you just do like a little side drill up the wall, right, and get to those minerals, and then you can just pick them like normal, conserve some ammo, right, use a little bit of juice on the drill. Maybe very obviously, and I haven't mentioned it yet, you can actually use the drills to kill bugs. I don't recommend it. I don't think it's most optimal, but you can definitely kill bugs with it. Man, I know there's some other ones. Well, okay, here's like I guess like another obvious one. Very often when you're like running through the maps to get to the next room, it's blocked by dirt, and it's pretty typical that people will mark the dirt for the driller to drill through. It's not his sole responsibility, but yeah, he does it better than anybody. So I think it's just most convenient, and yeah, it's basically that's his job. He should be kind of busting through, but everyone has a pickaxe, so it's not all on him. But that's another obvious one that you can do. I don't know. Yeah, there's a gameplay video that I did where I play as driller, and I think it's like kind of like in the latter half of the video, and I think it's a pretty cool jump that I pulled off. I actually jumped pretty far and drilled at the same time, so that when I hit the, I normally would not have been able to jump onto a wall, but I basically jumped into it because I was drilling as I was, flying into it. So it can have definitely some mobility uses. So anyways, I'm sure there's maybe some are very obvious that I'm not mentioning right now. It's like there's just so much that you can do with these. They're so cool. This is what I use. I think drill faster is the way to go. That you can get more drilling with that. Again, the faster you can drill, the cooler, especially when you're trying to huff it back to the drop pod. There's also been situations where like a bulk detonator kind of catches us off guard and we're trapped. Well, this is a nice getaway, right? When you get the faster drills going. So that's my reasoning for that. And it's not just bulk detonators, right? Because I know those are kind of more on the rare side. But I don't know. It's like you're getting swarmed, and you either accept death or you try to run and live another day. So I think the drilling faster is the way to go. And I go either way on this. What's nice about this is like it more or less guarantees that with like a full capacity max fuel, that you're going to be able to get to the drop pod. Maybe someone can say this is... No, I don't know. That's not for me. This is the one I like. So, man, that was a lot of rambling. I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some ideas of how to use it, and I definitely think there's some that I didn't mention. So let's talk about what would normally be the grenade slots. Now, you can see here, I haven't even used these. It's really a simple reason why I haven't used these. Well, I guess it's two simple reasons. Flavor. You're you're a dwarf, right? You should use an axe, man. And how many first-person shooters have you played where you can throw axes? Oh, I played this one, and I played this one. All right. You got some examples that I didn't know. But for me, throwing axes is not something I've done before in a lot of games. So I just think it's cool. And then the fact that you're a dwarf, and they're fun to throw. They do excellent damage. Excellent damage. They pair up real nicely with the cryo cannon, right? You freeze something. Hey, Praetorian. Up, sit it down. Up, axe, you're done, right? Oh, what a beautiful combo. What a beautiful combo. This also does really good versus dreadnoughts, right? He's showing you the booty, and he's chasing somebody, and you just light him up with these axes. Thump, 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 thump. Ugh. It does some damage, guys, I'm telling you. And it pairs up with this. What? So not only is it awesome and super cool, it's got some synergy. And if you're a scrub like me, you stink. If you miss with this, no big deal. You can go pick that axe up that you miss with. What? Oh man, how cool is that? How cool is that? So, one thing that I've actually seen, I don't know, maybe someone didn't get like enough situations where they could have used this, and then but they're like low on all their other weapons, so they need to resupply. Well, you can just throw these into the ground, right? As many as you want. You can throw them into the ground because you can always pick them up later, and then when they get a resupply, they get that much more axe, right? Because like you can only carry, I don't know, there's only so many you can carry. So by just throwing them on the ground and then getting a resupply, you can then use the ones that you resupplied and then pick those up, later. So it's just, it's a cool trick, right? The other reason, besides of how awesome this is and how it synergizes with that perk, and how ease of use this is, and just awesome. Yeah, I just kind of feel like the driller is already jeopardizing their team enough with all their explosion-y, the nature of the way that this thing plays. I'm already hurting my team enough, so I don't need to. I don't need to do any more booms. Is how I feel, and I'm not even saying that these are bad. I don't know. Clearly, I've never even unlocked them. I don't see people using them all that often. I feel like this is kind of the bread and butter. A lot of people go with this, and I feel like for the reasons I mentioned, that's why. So by all means, if you want to try these, go for it. But it's also a thing too. It's just like, how many grenades can you honestly, how different can you really make the grenades? Like are they really that much more unique than some of the other grenades? I just think this is really, really cool, right? It's so much flavor, so much fun, and it's good. So this is what I do, guys. This is what I think. This is what I recommend. And yeah. All right. So let's close that. Last. We're almost there. Please don't be over an hour with this. I've already talked so much. You want to get this, get more minerals. Oh boy, this is probably the last time I talk about this. Okay, do you want to get shields? Do you want to get health? You get 5 more shields, you get 20 more health. The argument for getting this is, well, if you minimize the amount of times you get hit, you'll never be dipping into your health pool, so why would you want this? Wouldn't you just want this? No. at least I don't think so. It's only 5, right? 5 is not that much. This is 20. And I know 20 is not really a colossal number either, but it's still more than 5. When you're playing at the higher difficulties, yeah, your shields, they're nothing. You think a dreadnought? You think a dreadnought cares about that 5 extra shield? He doesn't. So your chances of surviving a bigger, nastier monster are just straight up better because you're getting more. You can take more damage. So there's that argument. If you were falling, right? Like you're too cool for hover boots. You've commented that I'm an idiot for using hover boots. And then now you're in that situation, and I hope you think about me when you fall to your death because you didn't use hover boots. What do you think has a higher chance of keeping you alive, huh? Do you think that 5 extra shield, or do you think that 20 health? Yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is. This is going to give you, even if it's slightly higher, you're going to get a better chance of living from a fall with this. And I think I've also mentioned swarmers. Getting swarmed? They're gonna shred through it, man. They're gonna shred through this. This ain't nothing. It's only 5, man. It's only 5. They ain't worried about your shields. You're gonna want some more health. What's another thing? Oh, sometimes there are missions and like the bonus modifier is no shields. So at the very least, at least if you're gonna meet me part way, make another build because getting extra shields is just a waste. That's not helping you in a mission where there's no shields, right? So I got you there. You know it. Done. So all around, I just think this is better. Also, something that I haven't really said maybe enough, these kind of like upon shield breaking effects, right? When your shield breaks, now, the more shield you have, the less often it's going to break. And like, again, 5 is really not. I don't think 5's really going to change. Oh, did I just breathe in the mic? So sorry. Try not to do that. See, I feel it's like the way I talk too, right? It's hard not to do. Don't breathe. It kind of synergizes better having the health, so that you almost like, in a way, you want your shield to break so that you can do these effects. This you're forced to get. I think out of all the ones that people get, I think I like this one the most. Those fire maps, I find them to be particularly nasty. I could almost see people wanting to get this on the fire maps. Like I could see like a fire build because, especially on Has 5, it can be like particularly nasty, right? Like the fire maps, I think just by being in them for a period of time, like the ground breaks and you can fall into these like really deep holes, and of course they're all on fire. So not only do you get hurt from the fall damage, the fire eats you alive. Oh boy. So I could see maybe getting that, but I don't think it's the bread and butter. So anyways, going back to this, I just think this is probably like this is really cool. It's nice to have, but it's built in. You don't really get a choice. So anyways, back to these. What should you choose? My buddy Arty last night was like really enthusiastic about this one. I like constructive arguments, right? It doesn't have to be nasty. We can all be friends, baby, and we can always agree to disagree, right? Like sometimes you're just getting nowhere with somebody, and that's fine. I can't convince you. You can't convince me. We just, I'll do this. You do that. It's cool. But we had a discussion, totally civil, totally good, and he was really feeling this. I disagree. Why do I disagree? I disagree because that word chance. I don't even know what that chance is. Like, if you could prove to me that this was like a 95% chance, all right, I could see that. That's pretty solid. That's consistent. Whereas this is just guaranteed. It's going to happen. But his argument was, well, how much damage is it doing? All right, I don't know that number. And then his argument was, and I thought this was a darn good one, he said, well, I already got thorns. Why would I need this in addition? Like, aren't they already damaging themselves enough? Touché. They may be. But I think for things that are larger and nastier, I think the combination of this going off with this is just going to give you more consistency. is what I think. I think it's going to more guarantee that the things that are ripping you apart are going to die. And I like that. I like reliability. I like consistency. So for me, this is the best one to go with. That's what I like. Now, getting, things stunning, is incredible, right? Because now they're not hitting you at all. So, like, I could see going either way, guys. But that's my argument. That's what I feel, and that's why I do it. That's why I like. And this one, you go on Reddit, those really nasty, mean people will just be like, well, just don't suck. Don't die. Don't do, Alright, well, that's just... Okay. Um, and I will say with this one, especially if you're playing 3s and 4s, or maybe you're just as godly as that person who wrote that comment, if you're not dying a lot, this is situational. It is situational. I think losing your shields is going to happen a lot more, so you're going to get more benefit from this, especially if you're comboing it up with the more health, so you're not even dying anyways. So that's my piece. Oh man, so I think I've talked a lot. I don't know if I've covered everything, but I hope that helps. I'll put the build in the description. Again, I just want to say, it's left click, right? Bam. I really think this is amazing. Amazing damage. The CC is incredible. It really helps your teammates. It kind of like, if there's a pressure situation, it really takes that down a couple of octaves, right? It really, really cools things off. So I can't recommend this enough. And it's not just CC. Like, I don't know if you've played other games where, like, Frost builds are technically weak because they have all that CC. Nope. This is fantastic damage. And CC. At one point, and maybe it still is, this was the community consensus, the most optimal, right? Like, this was the thing to get. If they've tweaked it, I'm not noticing a difference. It still seems crazy good to me. I think they put, like a half second... like they put like a startup time on it. It's nothing, and I think I'm using I think with this that delayed turbine or whatever it is, it nope. As soon as I press down the mouse, like I pull the trigger, it starts going. So it's not just me who's saying that this is incredible. I think if you look at a tier list, it's got to be up there, man. It's so good. So I think what I'm giving you here is not just like some special custom build. I think it does have a level of optimization to it, and maybe I've over customized this to be good at gathering those resources. But I'm telling you, because this is so powerful, like, why do you don't need something like super damaging and robust? You just don't. This combo is it's disgusting, and the range on this, right? The beam or the plasma. I'm gonna just call them bullets. They travel a little bit slower, so you have to lead your shots. You have to aim ahead of where the bugs are going to be because of that travel time, right? Because as they're moving, so it's not like the GK2. I think the buzzword is like hit scan, and this is not hit scan, right? So they've got some travel time, but amazing combination right here. So much utility, and you can do whatever you want for these, but I think this is a pretty solid build. I've done Has 5s on these. I'm always surprised, like when I do a Has 5 on some of the other classes, I'm kind of on the edge of my seat. But when I do a Has 5 on the Driller, it's kind of, like the difficulty is just like really not there. Like, he is just so darn good. Driller is excellent. I think he's like the least played class, which is surprising because of how powerful he is. But again, my personal theory as to why he's not popular. He's got a lot of tools to utilize, and maybe that can be overwhelming for some, or underwhelming for people who are just so snazzy good. But the real theory, I think, is that he doesn't have a traditional, rifle, pew 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 kind of gun. He shoots these cones. I think there's like a Reddit post or something that talks about like what's the hardest to play class, and I think he is on there. I think the consensus is that the Driller is the hardest to play. I kind of agree with that, but I kind of don't. It's like if you break things down piece by piece, I don't see how he's necessarily harder. Like, it's just like if you just like look at this, right? I mean, what kind of accuracy do you need to land with this gun? You don't. Like, if my mom was to play this game, I'd probably tell her to play Driller because she could just point it in any direction, and she's gonna hit stuff. But in terms of like pulling this off to harvest nodes, and utilizing every tool that he has effectively, yeah, I think that's harder than anybody. I mean, to really get like the most bang for your buck, I think it's harder on him than it is for anybody. Maybe you could make the argument that engineer is. Sure, I can see that, but it doesn't matter, right? You play what's most fun. That's what I think is most important. You play what's most fun, not what's most cool, right? You play what's most fun, and I think it's also a good idea to play what other people are not playing. So you see like the other three roles are chosen, but driller is not. I go in as driller. That's how I do it. Um, so, anyways, if there's any, if you guys have any suggestions for videos that I can make, I got a couple that I'm thinking about. I think I might make like an enemy guide, and I think I'm gonna do like a recorded deep dive, and I might even talk. I might do a video about overclocks. Honestly, I got to do some research on them though, because I kind of fell in love with the ones that I like and really have not experimented too much with other ones. When I find something that works, I kind of just stick with it. I've been a I've been with my wife for 17 years. We haven't been married for that long, but we started dating, and I was 17 when we first started. I just stuck with it, man. I love her to death, and I can't see using any other overclock. You know what I'm saying? So like I kind of just get like attached. Oh man, I'm like about to cry. I get like attached to things, and like I don't always experiment. So if you guys have some suggestions about other things that you think are cool or whatever, let me know. What can I do? I'm also trying to help other people. Like maybe if you want like a little bit more individual, you want like a little bit more one-on-one. I'm available. Like holler at me, reach out. I mean, I got the wife, I got the kid, I got the 8 to 5 job, that kind of thing. So I can't be available all the time, but I can certainly like on weeknights and weekends, try to make myself available. So if you have questions or you want to play or anything at all, please reach out. Like that's why I'm doing this. So I want to. I want to spread the love. And speaking of that, another guy, I'll plug him for the last time. A dude named Legionless. I'll put a link in the description to his channel. Guy is fantastic. I can't say it enough how awesome and cool and chill and informative and patient and nice that this guy is. He is someone that I want to be more like. That I think other people should be more like. He's just like a model citizen. Just he puts out a lot of content, and it's so helpful and beneficial. And there are a lot of content creators that are worth mentioning. I don't know them all, but when I first started playing, I found his videos, and I just seem to resonate with him. So please, after if like the 3 people that watch this video, if you could please check out his channel. Like I think that'd be really beneficial to you. And I got to end it here because I've talked so long. So thank you so much, and please tune in for more.